Another area is the Department of Corrections that has done 2 jail studies in a row, and both of those jail studies have pointed out to flaws in the way that the jail has, or the way they're currently monitoring the inmates. They make recommendations that we need to do more consistent checks of inmates. But yet, if you look at the track history of the county jail, it has been historically, a very safe place for an inmate to be. If it's not broke, why fix it? Why are you mandating, or at least heavily implying, that you are holding yourself liable by not conducting more frequent checks of inmates when the current system seems to be working just fine? Instead of, as it was done in my perspective, passing that to the county board and saying, we need more staffing, I say you take that back to the Department of Corrections and say, leave us alone. We're doing a good job. We're doing the best we can, and our services can better be provided in other places.
How do you kick it back to the Department of Corrections, though? Isn't that the entity that sets the standards?
Yeah, but that entity is also controlled by the state of Wisconsin. So you work with your legislators, and you work with the Department of Corrections on having them, if that is a state advisement of policy, where are they getting that information from? If they're getting it based upon a regional area, and if we're lumped into the regional area with other jails that are poorly managed, and they're making assumptions, or they're basing it upon regions in which inmates are being assaulted or not cared for properly, again, don't have a shotgun approach. Go after those administrations that are not doing it properly. The ones that are getting through and working well and not having inmate assaults or inmate injuries or anything like that, well, then they seem to be doing a good job. Don't make it other people's problems. I feel that is done a lot of times in our state.
It sounds like you want to change the standards, though. If you're working with legislatures, doesn't that take a long time?
Well, yeah, but it's got to start somewhere. Again, you asked me what the difference is between me and my competitors. I feel that I'm going to be a sheriff, that I'm not going to be a micromanaging sheriff where I am going to be managing the entire day-to-day operations of the jail. I feel that it's the sheriff's responsibility to put people in charge to do the day-to-day management. It's also the sheriff's responsibility to set the tone and the philosophy of how the department is run. On the bigger picture, the sheriff has a lot of clout and does have a lot of weight. The sheriff should be acting as a liaison to the county board and should be acting as a liaison to the state to get communication going and get things done that are more efficient for their own county.
Can you name 3 specific changes in the management of the sheriff's office that will happen once you take office?
First one, I think, just being a sheriff that is willing to speak more in favor of the issues with the county board. I believe that I can work with the county board to set goals and go after them. I'm going to set realistic goals. Am I going to come in? I'm not promising that I'm hiring 5 new deputies my first year, and then I'm going to have $1.5 million in revenue by my second year. I'm not making promises. I'm just saying that these are things that has to be done. It has to be done for the safety of our people. It has to be done in order for the jail to make more financial sense for the taxpayers. So the first answer would be that to be a sheriff who works hard with the county board to get the things done. The second thing would be I'm a planner. I will set realistic goals, and I will have people in my administration and people within the sheriff's office that hopefully they see that these are mutual goals. I don't think that you can find a deputy or a member of the current administration that if you ask them to say, wouldn't you like to have more deputies out on patrol? I don't see that you'd find any person that would say, no, I disagree with you. So I think by planning and setting realistic goals and having them work with you to accomplish them would be the second thing. Third is that I believe I'm personable. Some of the people and some of the staff members that I've spoken to feel that the sheriff is not in tune with everything that goes on within the entire agency of the sheriff's office. I gave a talk to the Deputies Association a couple weeks ago. One of the jailers in attendance asked me if I've ever toured the jail, and I said yes, I've toured the jail. I still bring people to jail, on a common occurrence. Even though I'm an administrative lieutenant, I like to be out there with my officers. And I told that particular jailer, I said that once I am elected sheriff, and after a couple months of getting acclimated and situated, I plan on putting myself through a training program in the jail, so that I can better understand their needs, I can better understand what they go through on a daily basis. And then when I have to make a decision, not only will I make that with an understanding of what they go through, but I will also form new relationships with people that I may not see very often working at an administrative level.
You mentioned that you wouldn't be a micromanaging sheriff. Have you got some ideas about how you would delegate and to whom?
I think that there's a great staff, and that's the other thing that was said is that, boy, if you're going to run for sheriff, there's no better county to run than Columbia County, because from top to bottom, they are good people. They are hardworking people, they are honest people, they are people that really do take an interest in providing good services to the county. Despite the burnout factor, and despite the amount of overtime, the things that our deputies are being asked because of the resources that are not there, you never hear a complaint from the sheriff or the chief deputy that says, when we had an incident, we made some phone calls and we couldn't get people in. Officers, deputies, jailers, dispatchers, if there's a need, they come running. So to step into that environment, I would really look forward to that, because I know I would surround myself with really good people. And again, I feel that some of the things that have not been accomplished is partially because the sheriff needs to take a bigger step forward into the county board arena and into the state arena to get some policies accomplished and some changes made.